format. For the National League, we all know the Atlanta Braves. Congratulations to them. They, of course, have clinched the National League East Division. Jeff picked them at the beginning of the year. There you go. And the Washington Nationals had a chance, but it just fell short because they lost a few days ago to St. Louis.
Yeah, well, they're 6 games back in the wild card. They're done.
They're finished. They're done. It's not going to end up happening. And, just checking the game right now, Tampa Bay has just struck against the Yankees, so it could be a long night for Yankee fans.
Yeah, I was watching. I have that game on ESPN. I really don't want to freaking watch it, because I think it's boring.
Well, I think it is too, and I was
on.
watching ESPN. We'll get to the Yankees in just a sec. I know we don't like to talk about them all the time, but there are a lot of headlines being made up in the Bronx, and of course for Yankee fans and for the Yankee team. In the National League Central, the St. Louis Cardinals, it looks like they're very, very close to getting the National League Central division wrapped up. And Jeff, I just don't see anybody overtaking them. And then it's a tight race between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
How many games are they up on Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh is trailing 3 games.
To Cincinnati?
To Pittsburgh. And Cincinnati's trailing 4 games.
No, okay. How many games is Pittsburgh behind St. Louis?
3.
3 games. So it looks like St. Louis is going to win the division, and Pittsburgh and Cincinnati are going to play in the wild card playing game, right?
Yeah.
And the winner of that game goes to the playoffs, correct?
Yeah, the winner of that game goes to the National League Divisional Series.
Yeah, it goes to the playoffs. So I don't want to hear Wes give me any crap yet. We're in the playoffs. We're in the wild card game. No, you're not. You're playing the wild card game to see who makes the playoffs. That's the trick. So don't hand me none of that garbage, Wes. They call it a play-in game for a reason. It's a play-in game to see who makes the playoffs. You didn't make the playoffs yet, Wes. You made the play-in game, the wild card game, but not the playoffs yet.
Yeah, the one game, that's the new format that Bud Selig has. And that is where that game is like showing who can. It's like to get into the playoffs, and I still say it's the most ridiculous thing ever to have that. They should never have put that in there. It should be best of 5, best of 7, best of 7.
It is pretty stupid, but with the division split 3 now, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With the division split 3, and then they used to just do one wild card and boom, bang, boom. I like that better, because then it's 4 teams and then you go. But now they added another wild card, and then those 2 wild card teams are going to see who makes it into play. So you're still ending up with 4 teams.
I just
don't understand it.
The only problem I dislike, Jeff, when we think about it, is the fact that the postseason goes on a lot longer. We're talking until like early November, and that's why I don't like when Bud Selig does that. Baseball playoffs should always start in October and end in October, like late October.
It's kind of hard to do 3 7-game series in October.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Correct.
It's kind of hard to do that, but it can be. That's why they need to start the season a little bit earlier so they can end the season at like now. Season would be over now. And now at the bottom of at the end of September, they can start the playoffs and be done in October.
Yep.
That's how it used to go. That's how it used to go way back when.
Absolutely.
Playoffs started at the end of September and finished by October they were done.
In the National League West, of course, as you all know, the Los Angeles Dodgers, of course, they will be sitting, if the playoffs start today, they'd be the number 2 seed. And Atlanta, of course, would actually, St. Louis, if they hang on and overtake the Braves, they would have the number 1 seed. So there's a lot of stuff to get to. Now, if I go back real quickly to the American League, we'll talk a little bit about the New York Yankees.
Why?
As everybody knows, the Yankees lose tonight, are eliminated from playoff contention. It's going to happen. I don't see it happening. And everybody's saying there will be a lot of question marks for the Yankees and stuff, too. And I know, Jeff, you're probably sick and tired about it because they're kind of doing what they did last year. Remember we did a show last year, and the day after they got swept against Detroit, all of ESPN was focusing on what the problem was with the Yankees. Well, they'll do that again, and then they'll be like, well, what was the problem with the Yankees this year? The fact of the matter is the Yankees had a horrible bullpen. Their bullpen was not very good, and, of course, they're also old. And you know that next year when it rolls around, The Yankees are going to be a totally different team. They're not going to have Mariano Rivera. They are not going to have Andy Pettitte.
Right.
Derek Jeter is still a question mark for next year because he's got an option. Alex Rodriguez is going to be suspended the whole year because of what happened with steroids.
Correct. Yeah, they're starting to fall apart, the Yankees, aren't they?
Yeah, and CC Sabathia is out for the year.
So there you go. There it is. Say goodnight, Yankees.
Yeah, well, I had a feeling all along that before the season began, Jeff, that they were not going to be a good team, and that with all the injuries, it was going to be very tough with them to compete.
You think?
With anybody. Yeah, I don't think, I know. So New York not making the playoffs would be the first time in 5 years that happened.
Well, it's going to first time in 5 years that it happened?
Last time was 2008 when they missed the playoffs, and the Red Sox knocked them out.
Well, they ain't
for
going
the
to
wild card.
This ain't going to be the only time they don't make the playoffs. I hate to tell you that, my friend.
Well, you know darn well that the Steinbrunners and Brian Cashman are not going to be happy about it, and then they're going to have to start saying, well, we better start looking at who we can get for free agency. I think their biggest free agent, Jeff, is Robinson Cano. I think that is their biggest guy. They don't get Robinson Cano back, they're going to lose a big bat in their lineup. And I see one team that could possibly get him, and that is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, you know the Red Sox have the money to spend. The Dodgers, of course, are the same thing. They have the money to spend. So I could still see that he is gone. But New York, they could be bad in the next few years. They need to start rebuilding and start looking at their farm system and start going young again. Otherwise, if not, it's not going to make any sense with them going after aging old veterans.
Well, that's what they normally do, but you're right. They got to start bringing the kids up from the farm systems and start doing that stuff. But they've never done that. They've always bought their players. You know, for the last 15, 20 years, that's just the way it's been. Now, there aren't many ball players out there that are like the ball players that they had on their team. Mariano Rivera, Jeter, Rodriguez, just to name a few. There's nobody out there doing what those three used to do in the prime of their career, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to come, maybe Verlander, maybe this guy. But people like that aren't going to go to the Yankees because everybody views them as the evil empire.
Absolutely. And Jeff, real quickly, Rivera done. What are your thoughts? Arguably, he is
Thank God. I'm happy he's finished. I really am.
And I think
to
that...
me, you want to know something?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. To me, what Trevor Hoffman did and the way Trevor Hoffman did his is much more impressive than the way Mariano Rivera did his. And I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Mariano Rivera was on the New York Yankees. Trevor Hoffman was on the San Diego Padres. There's your difference.
Both are very, very good closers, and Trevor
San
Hoffman
Diego
has had an incredible
Padres
career.
Didn't play a lot in the playoffs.
No.
Whereas the Yankees did. That's why Mariano Rivera was a lot more known. So what I think, Trevor Hoffman breaking the record before Mariano Rivera did, he broke Trevor Hoffman's record. Breaking the record by Trevor Hoffman was, to me, more impressive than how Mariano Rivera did it.
Yeah.
Because Mariano Rivera did it on a team that was bought and built to win. Trevor Hoffman did it on a team that wasn't bought and built to win. They just didn't have the money to do it that way.
Yeah, and you have a good point, Jeff, because the Yankees have the highest payroll in all of baseball. The Padres are a small market team. And we kind of go back to the free agency. Robinson Cano, and even the Yankees are already trying to plan for 2014 because they know their chances aren't very good at making the playoffs. Robinson Cano says, he goes, I will take my time. He goes, quote, nobody said I'm leaving. Nobody said I'm staying. I haven't decided anything yet. Let's see what happens after the World Series. And that's a good way to look at it. You realize you're fighting for your playoff lives, but the chances are very slim. But you have to realize that once the season comes to an end, usually when teams are done playing and they're eliminated and out of the playoffs, then they start thinking about, Where do we want to go from there? Which team do we think would be the best? And then keep in mind the winter meetings come up. And so Robinson Cano, in my opinion, is going to be the biggest free agent out there for the Yankees. And if they don't get him re-signed, that's going to be a huge loss because he is a huge bat for that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like throughout the course of this season, he has kind of been the guy that has had to carry that team because Teixeira came back for a while, got injured. Derek Jeter came back for a while, got injured. So with the Yankees, it's just been nothing but injuries they've had to face. But most importantly, not only that,
Well, they're old.
they are also dealing with the fact that they are going to face lots of question marks when this offseason begins.
Well, they're old.
Yeah, they are. And they're going to be different when 2014 gets here. And the biggest question, too, Jeff, who will the Yankees have to close for them? Because losing Rivera is going to even be more devastating because then they're going to have to find somebody else who can do the job and get a 1-2-3 ninth
They'll
inning.
go steal somebody. Trust me.
Yeah.
They'll go get somebody. They'll go get somebody like Joe Nathan, or they'll go get somebody. Trust me. They'll go fork the money over because now all that money goes off their bank, off their books. You know? So they'll get somebody. Trust me.
We move on to the next topic. Enough with the Yankees.
Thank you.
The next one we have is the MLB wants files unsealed. This is amazing when I read this before we went on the air. Major League Baseball has filed a motion in a Buffalo federal court seeking access to sealed grand jury records in a case against a well-known sports physician who previously treated New York Yankees star Alex Rodriguez. And here's the big quote. Joe, good luck with trying to say that last name. The notion that Major League Baseball think its interests trump the interests of federal grand jury secrecy laws in this country shows you their arrogance and lack of perspective. It is also clear they are desperately scrambling to gather evidence at the 11th hour.
Against Rodriguez, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So they don't have. So Major League Baseball doesn't have any evidence right now, and they're
Not
scrambling
yet.
to get it. That's
Yeah, they're
bad.
failing to get it, and they don't
that's
have the evidence to
That's
back
a
it
bad
up.
news. That's bad. That's bad for Major League Baseball. That's really bad. And if that could be proven, uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right.
Because
And
they gave Alex Rodriguez the longest suspension
in history.
For his what? Second offense? Right?
Yeah.
Second offense?
It was a second offense. Remember, first offense, 50 games. Second offense, 100 games.
Right.
But Alex Rodriguez got 211 games.
Right. And for a second offense, whereas Miguel Tejada, for his second offense, got 100 games.
105.
105. So why are you making a rule that says for your second offense you're going to get 100? When somebody had their second offense, in fact, two people had their second offense, and you gave them more. Bud Selig, your word don't mean crap.
In my opinion, there are a lot of other people that have been scratched ever since Rodriguez was hit with this whole thing. There have been a lot of people saying that this is not right because this is the second time Rodriguez has gotten hit with the suspension with the penalty for performance-enhancing drugs. I don't agree with that because look, the rules are rules. First offense is 50, second offense is 100. And then I think third offense
is a year or a lifetime or whatever the hell it is. But still, the second offense is 100. Tejada second offense, you gave him 105. Alex Rodriguez second offense, you gave him 211. Why are you telling people if the second offense is 100? Why are you giving them more?
And that's the thing that a lot of people are upset about, saying, obey the rules about how you wanted to do it for performance-enhancing drugs.
And what gives you the right, if you have those rules written on paper, what gives you the right to give them more? I just don't get it, Bud Selig.
I don't get it either. And with them
Sean, hold on. It's called Major League Baseball. It's not called Bud Selig Baseball.
I think that's the way he looks at it. He probably says, I'm the commissioner of Major League Baseball, so I can do whatever I want. And I'm like thinking to myself, well, if you can do whatever you want, why don't you just maybe give Rodriguez 100 games?
And not only that, by him doing that, proves to me, and I don't know how many others look at it like